Anita Ventata. I am a speaker and author of The Wolf in a Suit. I'm also a survivor of domestic violence and a psychotherapist who's been working in the field over 20 years. I want to talk about the root problem for professionals. And by professionals, I'm talking about all forms of counsellors and therapists. I'm also talking about lawyers, doctors, police officers, all those professionals, including policy workers, but also other types of professionals too, in the industries like hairdressing and beauticians that are exposed to women and are very much where women go to talk. Research actually does show that the majority of women will not go and seek out an agency. They will talk to their friends and family. And this is why I do my community work. But as professionals, we need to understand this, because clearly we need to do something different to be able to recognise and respond appropriately. Domestic violence is the elephant in the room, and we need to understand the big picture, because what we're doing right now is being like the blind villagers in the old Sufi tale, where each blind villager comes up to the elephant and thinks it has the whole when it only has a part. So one villager has the tail and says, I know what an elephant is like, it's like a rope. Another villager has the leg and goes, no, an elephant is like a big solid tree. We all think we have all the answers as professionals, but we need to work together and understand the whole and the big picture. So the 3 areas for professionals that are still not in the way they need to be for professionals to truly do their job and be effective is, again, people do not understand the definition of domestic violence. There is a lot that is still left in confusion and is not being understood. And this is coming out by the focus in our professional world to focus on the left brain. The left brain is very black and white, very detail focused, very rational and sequential. It becomes that way of thinking without connecting to the right brain, without connecting to the feeling and the big picture, the body and the unconscious, and being able to be with the unknown, because the left brain is very factual and requires proof and is very reductionistic. So this first point of the root problem with professionals is we are fixed and rigid in this left brain thinking, and left brain then interprets an inaccurate picture because it does not include all of the information we get from the right brain. We need to be able to be with both our hemispheres. We have 2 hemispheres for a reason, and that information is all vital. We need information from all of our senses, not just our thinking function. Abuse happens behind closed doors, and so to just focus on those left brain qualities means that we cannot get the information we need to keep people safe and to recognise what is going on. The second point is many professionals, unfortunately even some who believe they understand about abuse and trauma, do not have the full comprehension about abuse and trauma, how it changes the brain and the body. Now we need to understand that so that we can recognise who we're talking to, and actually, even if they might hear the words, that their system, when they're in the trauma response, will be in overwhelm and not be able to use the information. So we need far better training for all the professionals about how to understand about the brain and the body. And it actually doesn't need to be that complicated, but there are important missing pieces about trauma and abuse. When we don't understand that, it leads us into the third problem, because we won't look at our own story. And as professionals, we all have our own story. Where there is a history of domestic violence, given 1 in 3 are exposed to domestic violence as women, we all have mothers or are female, and so there's often domestic violence in our own broader story. Or we belong to a social story that limits our understanding through that patriarchal filter of that left brain thinking. So we have an unconscious bias to not look at things, which conflicts with what information we do come across. And we will shut down certain things because it will become too uncomfortable. So then, in this problem, we then don't listen to survivors or hear the full picture of their reality. So these 3 points, just quickly again, we are fixed in the left brain. We do not know the full information about responding and recognising trauma and abuse, and therefore we develop an unconscious bias through our own social and family filters that mean that we can't hear survivors and what they really need and their reality. As a professional, contact me personally and I can tailor-make what your profession, what your professional work needs for you to be effective. My name is Anita Bentada from Activating Artemis. Thank you.